and I produce and DJ techno music. I got into electronic music kind of by accident. I was in band in middle school, and it was rock band. It was an elective, and I wanted to DJ in rock band because I really liked rap music, but I also liked playing keyboards and guitar. So I got a turntable and went to find rap records, and I was a sixth grader at the time. I didn't know where to buy records. So I stumbled into the store and I was like, "Do you guys have any rap music?" And they didn't have any rap music, and I sat there listening to trance and techno the whole time while my parents were having dinner. They're like, "Where'd Brian go?" Went and got me, and they're like, "Oh, he's clearly into this." And they asked the owner of the shop to teach me how to actually DJ instead of just sitting there ruining their record collection from the 50s or something. I decided to make electronic music kind of out of spite because I had started collecting records, and I started doing mobile DJing, and it was really fun. I just found out where to get rap music, and I started DJing at house parties, and started DJing out at college events like fraternities and shit like that, and people were just really liking it. But then I had this gig in Menlo Park, and somebody stole my whole entire record collection, and that was just enough for me to be like, okay, I'm just gonna make music and not worry about anything else, because it was kind of devastating. I had been collecting all of these records to play out at shows to make money as a job, and they were all gone, and to start from scratch would have taken years, and so my whole entire goal right now is really focused on my current project with this production company called Direct Earth. And I work with my business partner, Max Gardner, and we have residents. We have a techno producer from San Francisco, Patrick Gill. We've got a brother duo from Fremont, Guidewire, and they play live sets. And then we have Eli, who's a transplant who just moved here from Japan 5 years ago, originally from Minneapolis. So we've got a really cool rounded group, so hanging out around them, I mean, right now I'm really focused on throwing more parties, playing music I really like, and being inspired by the music they're all playing. Right now, what we want to do is we want to reach a new market, a new demographic. It's great seeing people but it's really fun to see people who've never heard the music before get involved in it. Just from having a good time and wanting to participate and wanting to DJ, wanting to learn how the music's made, just from one party, and that's kind of what our goal is, to reach new audiences and really expand, not only as a production company, but also as a good time for people to go to, something else to go to in Oakland, in the Bay Area in general, that's not quite solidified yet. It's a really small community in the Bay Area, and it's a lot different than a lot of other types of genres of music, because you don't have this. It's not mainstream. Every now and then you'll flip onto a radio station and they might have something close to techno, and you hear things that are backbeat laced with a 4/4 beat, and you're like, oh, that's techno sounding, but it's the mainstream music is just so bad, in my opinion. I like some pop stuff, but it's such a different culture. It's very counterculture. It's pretty much post-punk. We're living in kind of a little community of post-punkers who are just not really over being against everything else, but trying to build something else as good, I guess. 5 years from now, I'd really like to see myself playing more to just more crowds that are just like out of their mind. I mean, I just want to see a crowd that's just going berserk, like on bath salts or something, just next level. Like that's my goal in 5 years. But you know, I also like to have that be at one of our parties, you know, and just have a group of people just going insane, like losing their minds, you know. That's kind of the 5-year plan, and you know, get out of the state a lot more. Keep home base in Oakland, and then move like a traveling show kind of thing, you know. All bands go on tours, you know. You might get a van, you know, just go to Walmart parking lots and throw raves, like impromptu parties, you know. Just you know, do bigger things and kind of explore the world that's in front of us for that type of music.
I started listening to electronic music much earlier than I started making it, but not too much further. I started listening to electronic music when I was about 16, since the mid-90s. And then I went to the San Francisco Art Institute and took a sound art class. And so tried to get away with doing art projects that were essentially me trying to make the electronic music that I really liked. And I was probably 18, so this is 97. I would put together things that I would call demos, and then I've actually been digging through and finding a bunch of old ones that aren't albums anyway. It's just, and then my songs would always be really short, so it'd be like, here's 30 songs on a CD that I would be like handing to people or sending out. So I didn't really start putting together albums and cover art and everything, especially until I started doing it digitally about 5 or 6 years ago. The nice thing about making electronic music is you don't really have to answer to anyone. It's like any sort of solo project, whether it be a rock band or an electronic music production. It's very much me pursuing as best I can, making the sound that I'm most interested in. Although, you know, there's a bit of lining up what one does with what one's peers do if you want to play out. The electronic music scene here is as lively as ever. It's always been big here. Just like the indie scene, there's lots of little separate cliques and groups of people that perform their own little style of music, and with some people that can switch between them. That's like a interesting and bad thing about it, is the sort of lines in the sand where like this or that person makes experimental electronic music, or this or that person plays more pop-based electronic music, and often the music sounds exactly the same, but the people will run in completely different scenes. My personal vision for my type of music is I'm very specific about the rules with which I follow when I'm making music. It's kind of the same way I do any project artistically, is I set some sort of group of rules. So all of my songs are made of samples and at this point mostly from samples I'm finding online, on audio blogs and through other hunting for obscure musics. And each song is composed out of however many, you know, I could just say some margin, 30 or 40 more different songs, and then bunches of bits out of each of those songs to compose a song. And so my vision is to create a cohesive whole out of those bits, something in which the sound design, even if I'm not the one who initially made the sound, that the way that the different sounds are juxtaposed and subtly adjusted, I don't use a lot of effects and things, makes the song have this sort of a unique, sort of lived-in feel to it. Part of what brings me to electronic music, and it is most interesting about it, is I'm a DJ, and I started collecting music very vehemently, or actively early on in my getting into music, and I've always been a fan of music since I was 12 or 10, always hunting for new and particular music to fit something that I'm interested in. And I would say the most important thing is to know what you like, not to know what scene you want to be in, or not to know what kind of shows you want to play, or that social aspect, but to be really sure of your own aesthetic, what kind of music sounds good to you, what area of music that you feel that you have a voice or something to say that would be useful to that scene. And then it can range, the ways of going about making it can range anywhere from just downloading some free software online like Audacity and sampling music together, to buying a synthesizer and sitting at home and tinkering. It's the best and worst thing about electronic music is how endless the variety of ways to tackle the same song there are.
John was just my roommate, and he would just hear us from the back of the apartment where we were writing the songs, and he would always say, "You guys have no rhythmic talent at all. You need a drummer." And so he drafted himself in, and the first time he sat in was actually with remember 2 Sharpies and just a snare drum, and you were like, "Trust me, it's okay. The Sharpies aren't gonna break. It'll be fine." And then like halfway through trying to play the first song, like there was ink just like scattered all over the room.
I'm sort of a lesser Keith Moon. I'm really restless all the time, and guitar was my first love, but I think I have definitely found my style rhythmically playing in this band.
So I had a band before in the early 2000s where I was sort of, I just wrote the lyrics, and it was supposed to be that I was just gonna be like the guy behind the guy. Like he was gonna be Elton John, and I was gonna be Bertie Taupin. I was just gonna like completely behind the curtain, right, and just like write the lyrics, but being sort of the outspoken asshole type that I am, I sort of got pushed more and more towards the front of the stage. And then after I quit that band to go back to school, I met John at San Francisco State, and first he tried to get me to sing in the band that he was in then, and then this all just sort of coalesced with me being the front man for 3 guys that had all already been the singers, songwriters in other bands. It's like a super group of people that were never famous for anything else.
Yeah, right?
For me, it's just been I've just dedicated my life to this, so I own a little indie label that is just kind of been a stepping stone, Pleasant Heat Records, and it's just been a way to hopefully help other artists get somewhere place bigger and better, and I'm hoping that's going to happen with us as well.
John, you're like another band we were in. I went up to Ed, asked if I could join your band. He was like, "That's great. Can you play keyboards?"
Right.
And like I didn't really, but I said yes. It was a lie. I just wanted to join. And then,
well, and I was really excited because I wanted us to have a utility band.
Yet.
I kept calling it that, and I was like, "Yeah, you can play mandolin and banjo." And
that's what it started out.
Yeah. Right, like a shortstop. He was just going to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
So you didn't know how to play keyboards keyboards
Well,
at
I
all?
knew I messed around with it. Like, I had a basic idea.
He wasn't a keyboard player.
I never played for
He
a band.
totally bullshitted me. He's like, can I be? He was like, I heard you're starting a band with John. Can I join? And I was like, as long as you can play keyboards, that's what we really need as a keyboard player. And he was like, yeah, of course, no
Well,
problem.
you said like you hesitated, either you can or you can't. I was like, I can.
You know, we played really early on in the band. We played the free First Friday show at the Uptown, and it was like so packed that like the bouncers were up front like freaking out about like fire hazard shit, and like
We had to text each other to like make sure that we loaded on.
yeah, we couldn't even find each other before the show started. It was just like so massive, and to step on stage and be really early in the process. Like we had played our first show less than 3 months before that, so we'd only been a band for about less than 6 months, and there was hundreds of people out there, and it sort of gave us a taste of ambition. I think before that it was like, this is cute and fun, and then being in front of that many people and seeing the reaction, I don't know, it gave me a little bit of madness started to creep in. I think at that point, like maybe we could really do something with it.
I've actually met people where they say, I'm going to start a band and be in a band, and if it doesn't break, then I'm just going to go do something else. And it's like, that's completely the wrong take of like playing music or doing anything.
I got
It's
advice
it's
before-
love, you know?
Before all
It's
that,
love.
the number one rule is you have to have chemistry and like people in your band.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't start a band with people that you think you might end up hating, because it's gonna
'Cause then you'll
suck
probably
really
hate
bad, and you're gonna feel like indebted to those people, rightfully so, because you've all joined into a contract. But don't take it lightly. Don't start a band without intending to be married to those people.
It's
You
the
know,
most
it's-
intense-
I would say
It's the most dedicated relationship I've been in my life. So.
this one right here.
The fact that I'm echoing records, I think, is a testament to what we're doing, and that's just, don't think about what's at the end of it, and don't get distracted, and just be driven because it's what you do, and not because it's what you're forcing yourself to do.
Yeah.
And be okay with failing every once in a while, and just, love what you're doing, otherwise you're fucked.